What's happening, Wesley? What's happening, MSU? What's happening, world? Rev back again with another Sunday message. Again, as always, it is our prayer that this week provided some type of blessing to you, some type of comfort, some type of hope. We know that last week was not a good week and we survived Snowmageddon, but we are here again. We made it through another week. No matter how hard it was, no matter how tired you made it. And prayerfully, this weekend, you got what you needed in order to make it to the next week. Listen, let me shout out 4 Reasons, my guy, DB, 4 Reasons. You need a hoodie? We might put the link in the bio or something. But we support our students, we support black businesses, and this is both. And so, find your foe. You know what I mean? But let's get into it. We talked about at the Wesley, why does bad things happen to good people? And that's a question that many of us have, because things do happen. Things happen in the world that sometimes we just cannot explain it. We don't know why a child dies. We don't know why an old person finds themselves in sickness when they've been healthy their whole lives. Like, there are so many things that happen in this world that we fully don't understand. And so what we've been able to do in the Wesley is really dig deep. And we dug deep into the theological perspective of theodicy. Yes, theodicy, the study, the question that we ask, why does bad things happen in the presence of a good God? And so we studied theology and we read Genesis chapter 4, the story of Cain and Abel, where Cain kills his brother. And as a consequence, he's cast away from his family and he goes out and he becomes a wanderer. And listen, the text tells us that both Cain and Abel brought an offering to God. And Cain was not pleased with how God received his offering. But God said, hey, listen, man, if you do right, if you change how you are feeling right now, you will be received. But if you don't, then sin is waiting at the door. That if you don't do it, how you're feeling right now may cause you to do something you may regret. And so when we talk about this issue about why bad things happen to good people, it's natural for us to think that maybe God has something to do with it. But we have to look at the fact that each one of us, every single person in this world, has the ability to make a choice that can be harmful or helpful to somebody. I'm going to say that again. Every single one of us has the ability, the free will, the choice to make a good choice or a bad choice that will impact the way this world goes. And so that just brings me to my first point. If we're asking the question, why does bad things happen to good people? The hard answer is we are. We are the reason bad things happen to good people. And the reason why is that because we have the ability to make poor choices. We have the free will to do things that put people in very harmful situations. And I'll even go further. We have a choice with how we deal with the environment, how we deal with our ecosystems, how we contribute to pollution that dictates climate. All of these things are largely connected to the choices that we make. And so, yes, we have a good God who desires nothing but goodness for us. But God has given us the ability to also do good and do bad. And if we have that choice, then we have to make sure that we're doing our best to do the best so the world can be the best. Ooh, I should say that again, but I don't even remember what I said. That brings me to my second point. The presence of evil does not mean the absence of God. I'm going to say that for somebody else. The presence of evil does not mean the absence of God. In the story that we read, Cain killed Abel. That was an evil act. But that did not mean that God did not want to continue to be in relationship with Cain, someone who did an evil act, who made an evil choice. As a matter of fact, Cain thought it was all over. Cain thought that the punishment that God had given him was too much. And what God does, God says, you know what, listen, there's grace in your suffering. There's grace in your failure. There's grace inside of every poor choice, and says, no way, no one's going to do to you what you did to your brother because I still love you. And God's goodness and God's grace is still present even when evil is there. There's a psalm that says that every single time each one of us cry, God captures our tears, because God's presence with us, even in the moments of suffering, is evident that God desires for us to have good, even though there's bad in the world. And let me say this, last point, is that when evil is present in our lives, when an evil choice or an evil opportunity, when evil is present in our lives, or the thought to do something bad is present, God will give us a way of escape. Remember in the story, when Cain wanted to do something bad, when Cain was feeling bad, God said, hey, listen, brother, you feel a certain kind of way. If you don't change your countenance, or if you change your countenance, nothing bad will happen. And I think each one of us get that same opportunity, that when we have these negative thoughts, or when we have these feelings where we want to do something that is harmful or hurtful to somebody else, there's a moment of clarity where God will step in and try to stop it, to hinder what is possible. And so I want to remind you, and I want to encourage you, that evil may be present, but God can give us a way of escape. Scripture actually tells us that when temptation comes, God, who is faithful, will give you a way of an escape. And so when we look at this evil world that we have to remember that we contribute to it. Our choices contribute to it. The things that we say and the things that we do contribute to it. And God is just as affected by it as we are. And so let us be a people who strive to do good. Let us be a people who strive to eradicate evil by making good, loving choices. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, and the world will be a better place. That's our Wesley on Sunday, and we hope to see you next week. Peace.